Yes, the autistic accent is very much a thing. A lot of autistic people record that they don't really feel like they have a very specific accent, or if they do, they feel like sometimes it comes and goes. They feel like they speak like their favourite characters, or they take on certain words, or they take on the accent of the people that they are around. It's very common for young autistic people to speak like the characters that they watch on TV. So for example, having a family that is literally from the northeast and one of their children watches a TV show where the character is very posh and suddenly their accent is very posh. This is often used as an indicator for a child being autistic. For me, it's a huge thing that ties in with masking. It's a huge thing that ties in with trying to understand social situations and trying to blend in. I have found that I mimic people. Working in customer service was terrible because sometimes somebody would say something and then I'd say something back and I'd mimic their tone and they thought that I was mocking them. Or people laughing and then I would laugh in the same way. It leads to some awkward situations because people do think that you're being patronising and you're taking the piss out of them. And I sometimes find that if I'm reminded of the fact that I'm from the north, if I'm say down at an event in London or something, my accent comes back because I've been made conscious of it. And it's not that I lose my accent, it's just not as strong. Because again, I'm trying to blend in with people who are not from where I am, and then I'm reminded of it, and then I'm like, oh my god, yes, I am a Geordie, and then my accent comes floating back. So I don't actually know how I speak. And then when I'm around my friends and my family, I feel like, is that how I speak? Is that my normal tone? I don't know. But it's said that the autistic accent is very bland. It's very sort of generic. It's a accumulation of lots of different sources of an accent, lots of different sources of language, and that is sort of what you base your accent on. And something that I was told I did in school when I was learning phonics, when I was learning how to speak, when I was learning how to read, I took things literally. And that's a massive thing with autistic people, but when I was told that ing was pronounced ing, that meant that everything I said, I would say skipping, walking. That's how I thought you had to speak, because I was told that that's how it was pronounced, when that's just not how everyday language works, especially when you're from the north. You don't say skipping, you say skipping, you know? And it was that thing of I took things literally when I was learning to speak because I was autistic, and that also impacted the way that I would say things. And I think because you're constantly looking for a source of validation of I am saying this correctly, I am blending in, I am talking in the right way, you end up picking up on so many different sources of information that you do end up just having a very bland, very generic, unplaceable accent.